In public health, you could have the perfect vaccine, the most brilliant treatment, but if you mess up the communication, the whole thing can just fall apart. So today, we're going to crack open the official playbook, specifically Module 6 on communication from a professional training manual, to see how the experts are actually taught to handle the conversation when lives are on the line.
And that, right there, is the core of the problem, isn't it? You can contain a virus in a lab, but trying to contain public fear or rumors or just plain old misinformation, that's a whole different ballgame. Managing that conversation is a huge challenge, and the stakes couldn't be higher.
So, let's dive into something really fascinating that the manual points out right away. It's this idea they call the communication paradox.
And this is where it gets kind of weird. Think about it. When a vaccine works so well that a disease practically disappears, well, people forget how scary that disease was. The threat is gone. So what do they focus on instead? The vaccine itself and any potential side effects, no matter how tiny the risk. So your biggest success becomes your next big communication headache. It's wild. And this is why this stuff matters so much. We're not just talking about good PR here. This can be a matter of life and death. The manual says it flat out. When rumors cause confidence to drop, vaccination rates can drop too. And that can let diseases we thought we beat come roaring back. So that's the million-dollar question, right? If your own success can create this problem, what's the game plan to fight back? How do you hold on to public trust when a single bad piece of information can literally circle the globe in an afternoon? All right, let's see what the playbook says.
Okay, so the manual lays out a pretty clear foundation. And it's not about spin or tricks. It's all about building real, solid trust with the public.
Okay, so look at this. It's like two different roads you can take. Over on the left, you've got the stuff that builds trust. You use sources people already believe in. Your message is simple and you stick to it. And you're honest, even when the news is bad. But on the right, that's how you destroy trust. You spread rumors, you use confusing jargon that no one understands, and you hide things. The choice seems pretty obvious.
And this is basically the golden rule in the entire playbook. We're all drowning in information every single day. The goal isn't to add more to the pile. It's to cut through all that noise with just a few simple, key messages that people can actually remember and maybe even share.
But here's the thing. Just throwing facts at people, even really clear facts, sometimes doesn't work. Why? Well, that brings us to the human factor. Because how we feel about risk is often way more powerful than what the data actually says. Okay, this concept is so important. Risk perception isn't about logic, it's about gut feelings. A 1 in a million chance of something dramatic and scary can feel way more threatening than a 1 in 10 chance of something common and boring. And public health folks have to get that. They have to talk to our fears and emotions, not just our brains.
So you get it. You know trust is key, you know people's feelings matter. So what do you actually do when a rumor starts to spread and a crisis is blowing up in real time? Right, when things go sideways, the playbook says rule number 1 is don't freak out. Instead, you follow a clear, methodical process that's already been laid out.
And here it is, the 5-step game plan. First up, confirm. Don't go chasing shadows, right? Make sure the rumor is even real. Then, assess. Is this a small brush fire? Or is the whole forest about to go up? Next, and this one's crucial, coordinate. Get everybody on the same page because a mixed message is a weak message. Then, and only then, you respond. And you do it fast to get ahead of the story. And finally, you monitor. You watch what people are saying because the conversation is never really over. It's a calm, professional way to handle total chaos. Now that respond step, that almost always means you're going to be talking to the media. They're the ones who can get your message out to millions. And the manual's super clear about this. When you talk to them, you better be prepared. The playbook's advice here is all about strategy. It's not just a list. It's a battle plan for getting your message out clearly. Know who you're talking to. Think about the hardest questions they could possibly ask you and have your answers ready. And most importantly, know your 3 key messages and stick to them. The goal isn't to win an argument. It's to be the calmest, most reliable voice in the room. And as we bring this all together, this is really the bottom line. What we've been looking at, it isn't just some optional extra. According to the experts who wrote this stuff, being a clear, honest, and empathetic communicator is just as vital to saving lives as the medicine and the science. It is the mission.
So in the end, this playbook gives officials a guide. But for the rest of us, it kind of leaves us with this huge question. In a world where we're flooded with information from every direction, the real challenge isn't finding answers, it's figuring out who to believe. And that is something we all have to think about.